the red wine just kept going in and going in and going in. And, that jug surprisingly holds over a bottle of wine, which doesn't look like it when you're looking at it. But yeah, we went through 40 bottles of wine into the Claret Jug.
Because I do 1,300 crunches and sit-ups 4 times a week.
What's a dose? Can you translate for us?
Winner of the gold medal and the champion golfer of the year is Ernie Els.
Welcome back to the Go Track, the podcast about golf and golf adjacent stuff, mostly from Africa. We have an awesome interview for you guys this week. I chatted to Dean Smith, who is the South African caddy of Ryan Fox, obviously coming off that incredible major win of Foxys. Dean talks about kind of how he got into golf and how he got into the profession of caddying, when him and Foxy crossed paths and started working together. And then a little bit about Foxy's mindset, particularly around the Open Championship and the Saturday night, and of course the round on Sunday. Dean talks us through a couple of those last holes, talks us through the celebrations and the party that night, and gives us kind of insights into potentially what kind of wager him and Foxy may have going on for the Springbok All Blacks Test Series. So greatly appreciate Dean's time chatting to us. He managed to carve some time out. He was actually kind of on the way to the golf course, caddying for Foxy this weekend at the BMW. And yeah, we wish them best of luck for the next, hopefully the next 2 tournaments. And yeah, let's go over to the podcast now. Awesome. So chatting now with Dean Smith. Dean, thank you so much for joining us on the Go Track. Dean, only a handful of guys get to experience what you've been through in the last 5 weeks. What's it been like kind of snapping back to reality and being back on tour?
Snapping back to reality was last week. First week back was Memphis last week, and that place is hot. So we definitely sweated out some bad toxins. But yeah, got hit back to reality in a hurry.
And kind of looking, obviously, you know, we're going to get into the fun stuff just now, but kind of looking forward to the next couple of weeks. Obviously, big 2 weeks for you guys as a team. Besides what's already been achieved this year. A couple of weeks ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. This week's a great track. We're in Belle Reve, which is for the BMW. We were here in 2018 for the USPGA, and this is a proper good golf course. Looking forward to this week. We start in a few hours' time, and next week Atlanta's Eastlake. It's a new one to me. We've never made it that far. We've had our tour card over here for the last couple of years, and we missed out last year. So we're looking forward to getting there next week.
So just a bit of background info, Dean, for kind of our listeners. I think a lot of people would have seen pictures of you and known that Foxy had a South African caddy on his bag. But just talk a little bit about your kind of background with golf, how you sort of ended up getting into caddying, and then when did you and Foxy kind of cross paths?
Okay, I got into golf pretty late. I was, played soccer growing up. It was my main sport, but played all sort of ball sports as most of us South African kids do. Started playing golf probably when I was 13 or 14 and had a little bit of a natural talent for it. And, when I ended up doing my knees in and buggering them up properly, started playing a bit more when I was in 17, 18. Got down to scratch, moved over to the UK and was playing over there, playing amateur league stuff, and got to know a few people. And I think it was 2011, 2012 was my first kind of introduction to the professional side, not for me, but to go out and watch some tournaments and caddy. And I did a couple of tournaments on the Sunshine Tour, and Ended up in 2012 with an opportunity at the end of 2012. My first tournament where I decided I was going to do it professionally was at the Nelson Mandela, which is in Durban, followed by the Alfred Dunhill, which was Leopard Creek. Worked for Oliver Wilson for a couple of weeks and did all right, really enjoyed it. And he offered me an opportunity to go forward in 2013, which I did. And yeah, that's kind of where I started up. So it's been, this is my 15th year of doing this now, and thoroughly enjoy it. It's definitely a job, but yeah. So to go through, like worked for Oliver Wilson, worked for a couple of other guys on the Challenge Tour, but on the European Tour, and 2014 I'd say was my real big break. Worked for Ben Ann, started working for Ben Ann, and had a brilliant 2015 with him. He won Rookie of the Year, and then hooked up with Foxy, met him a couple of times in 2015. He was coming out from New Zealand and doing a few tournaments here and there, and he qualified for the Open, so we did a practice round with him there, and we played the China Open, I think it was, in 2015, and got to know him there. And the opportunity came up to work for him at the end of 2015. He asked me to work for him, and yeah, we've had a long ride since then.
So obviously, you guys. I was trying to work it out, what is it with kind of guys from the Southern Hemisphere, because you see a lot of a lot of the players from the Southern Hemisphere obviously stick with kind of Southern Hemisphere caddies, whether they're Aussies or Kiwis or South Africans, and then there's a lot of South African guys who've done well as caddies, working for other professionals. Kind of, what do you how do you summarize kind of what you see as that skill set that you kind of bring, or that we or let's say as South Africans bring to players that you think kind of appeals to a lot of these guys?
Yeah, well, I think for the Southern Hemisphere thing, we've got a lot in common. We all like fishing, braaiing, rugby. We've got a lot in common. So for myself and Foxy, that's what we talk about a lot. It's fishing, it's stakes, it's golf, it's rugby. Obviously we're talking a lot about rugby at the moment, but I'm sure we'll get back to that.
And red wine, I think, is a big topic of conversation as well.
Obviously, yes. So, and then I think like South Africans in general, we're just hard workers. We're well known for working hard, putting in time, putting in effort, and I think it gets noticed. Like we're very popular. We also got kind of relaxed demeanors, and players like it. There's a lot of caddies, especially out on the European Tour, that have been successful and are successful, and a lot out here too. There's quite a few out here in America doing good jobs.
So, chatting a bit about Foxy now. So, I mean, obviously, as a player, he has a very unique swing, but he also seems to have a simplistic kind of winner's mindset. And I'd love for you to chat about that if you think that's true. But I feel like when he is in the mix, he seems to make it very difficult for other people to win. It seems to be the mindset that he has. So I want to take you back to 2023. So you guys win. Foxy wins the BMW PGA at Wentworth, and there's a video clip that went around. You guys are standing behind the green, and he whispers to you, "We're going back to the Masters," and you say to him, "You remember what you said to him?
Let's go and win it." Yeah.
Let's go and win it." So, and yeah. I thought that was a unique kind of insight, possibly a unique insight kind of into the mindset that you guys have as a team. Can you touch on that a little bit, and also maybe how that fed into kind of the context of maybe conversations you guys were having, on Saturday afternoon, evening of the Open this year?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, winning is so hard, you know. There's so many really good golfers out here, like, and all over the world, and winning is the hardest thing to do. Like, there's been great golfers that have gone a whole career successfully without winning.
Yeah.
It's really tough. Foxy, he wins. Like, we've won 8 times together. Like, he gets the job done, and he's better right up front in the mix. You know, things slow down, clarity comes. You know, he's better right up at the top, pushing for a win, than, you know, sniffing around a cut line. You know, on a Friday afternoon. It's weird. But yeah, it's hard. Like, he's an ultimate competitor. Like, he's super impressive, but there's a lot of time and effort that goes in behind the scenes that people wouldn't know about. How we talk about these things, and how I have meetings with his coach, with his agent. You know, he has meetings with his coach, his mental coach, his agent. There's a lot of time that goes in. There's hours and hours and hours per week on how we, you know, make things easier, smoother, more relaxing, you know, get rid of anxieties and talk about different things. So there's a lot that goes on. And then going to the Open, that's an interesting one, because, you know, first round, played decent, got nothing out of it. Shot a couple over par, and I think he was running 100, maybe something like that after round one. Had a really solid second round, and then third round, course record, or, you know, and major record, tied major record 62, which was incredible. And then that Saturday night, we all went out. We went and had some food, and Foxy went back to the house. We were all staying together. There was myself, Foxy, his coach, and his agent. And Foxy goes back, and we stayed out and had a couple of beers, you know, soaking it all up in the village that we were staying in, right by the course. And, you know, we had spoken about it. Like, that night, we were actually like, hey, let's believe this could happen, and how we're going to deal with this. And, you know, so yeah, I know it's relaxing over a couple of beers, but, you know, there's more time and effort. Like, we were prepped for this. And then waking up on Sunday morning, you know, Foxy was like, how you feeling? And I was like, you know, feeling good at the moment. How are you? And he's like, oh, I'm a little nervous. But I was like, well, nerves are great. You know, you've got to, if you're nervous, it's a really good thing. If you can channel that nervous energy into your golf, it's dangerous. So yeah, we embraced it, and, well, the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's super fascinating. You know, like as you say, you can have as positive a mindset as you like, and just I think touching on what you were saying, you know, for a lot of people, they see you know, they look at Foxy and yourself, and they see this, you know, relaxed Southern Hemisphere demeanor, and that, you know, that's all sort of unprepped and comes naturally. But as you say, there is a huge amount of work behind the scenes that goes into, you know, mental preparation, physical preparation, etc. So it's not just a case of kind of rock up and you know, swing away. Like I guess some people may have that opinion. I think there's a massive amount of prep that he's done, and that I guess, you know, most golfers are doing it. That guys work incredibly hard on all of those aspects. But there's undoubtedly a special, like, X factor with the way that he plays, and I also can't help thinking that it must be linked to kind of genetics and you know, through his family, the way you know, he was brought up in a household of sports personalities, very successful sports personalities, and, you know, there's no doubt that through that sort of environment, you know, it feeds into him, and into that mindset. I know recently, when I had a chat with Mike Hollick, who won, you know, a couple of weeks before the Open, and when we spoke to him afterwards, you know, he said that he went to sleep on the Saturday night almost knowing that he was going to win that golf tournament. And there's certainly, I think, only a handful of players who rock up on a Sunday with that sort of mindset. So Okay, so obviously the Sunday is kind of back and forth and up and down, and it was a pretty condensed leaderboard, for us watching on TV. But we get to kind of the what, like, it was a great Sunday, by the way, as like a viewer,
Yeah.
and I'm sure being on the course it was insane, but as a viewer it was one of the best. But we get to almost the last chapter, so like the last 6 holes on Sunday, and like obviously Foxy like really locks in those last 6 holes. He birdies the 13th, the 14th, 16 he birdies, and more or less has almost a lip out for a birdie on the 17th. But
Yeah.
it's kind of the 15th and the 18th holes, I think, that are the ones for me watching that were like the most intriguing. So just starting with that 15th hole, obviously, everyone watching will remember it's a brutal kind of par 3. And Foxy got like hit a great shot and just got like a really tough bounce. Just talk me through kind of your guys' conversations walking up towards the green, and like the mindset around that, because it was an amazing kind of hole to watch.
It was, and it's we've spoken about this a lot, and it's the best bogey that I've ever seen. We weren't stretching a club by any means. It was a 5-iron that should have been pitching 5 or 6 over that front bunker. That's the only way it had got firm and fast, as you guys had already seen. It goes downhill and releases to the back of the green. We knew pitching somewhere near that front, definitely the front third of the green, would release all the way back and possibly even run over the back, which was fine. The wind was kind of down out the left, like kind of half and half. And, the ball, he hit it good, maybe slightly high on the face. So creating a tiny bit of right to left spin with a down out the left wind, just kind of, it looked good in the air. I've got to admit, I thought we were good. And, obviously, as you said, a really tough break. Missed the landing spot by less than a meter, either right or forward, and it's getting all the way down to the flag. But yeah, walking up, we got like almost a 200-meter walk, 180-meter walk to the front of that green.
Yeah.
And sort of get to about 100 meters, and all the commentators are there, and they're all taking a look, and they like looking in the bunker and then looking down. You're like, oh, okay, something's going on here. And then everybody's coming over to have a look. So by this time, we're probably 30, 40 meters away. And yeah, can't see the ball. So we kind of know it's either plugged or it's right up against the lip. And yeah, as soon as we got there, had a look, seen where it is, it was just it was a matter of moving people out the way as quick as possible, because as you've seen and said, Foxy's quick. He's super instinctive.
Yeah.
He likes to be ready all the time. So I'm just trying to back people out the way to go backwards. The quicker he can do that, the less time he's got to think about it. If he starts standing over the ball and, oh, well, maybe I can just splash it out left and then chip it over the bunker for 3, then he's bringing 5, 6, into play. So I was just trying to shift people out the way as quick as I can. And yeah, I mean, there was kind of no other way he could have gone. Splashed out a great bunker shot, but had to get it far enough. Like, it's not just splashing out the bunker. He had to hit it a good 20 meters in order to have a straight shot down the green. But then he's still left with like 30, 40, probably a 40-meter shot for his third shot. That's in the situation where he is. I mean, and he's just executed a perfect chip, pitched exactly where he wanted with the exact amount of spin to release down that hill and hit it to 6 foot, maybe 6 or 7 foot, and rolled that in. And yeah, I mean, 16 was a unbelievable birdie. 17, like you said, lipped out. But then, yeah, like I said, going to 18, the best birdie I've ever seen. So seen the best bogey and the best birdie in the space of an hour. Yeah.
So just pausing on 18. I think like I couldn't agree more. Like I think 18 in the long run, in the like history books, I think that the 18th hole is going to overshadow kind of what he did on that 15th hole. But that was a remarkable up and down, or let's say bogey from that position. And I think a lot of, like, I actually went back and watched the highlights a while back, and yeah, as you say, there was a lot to. He made it look really simple because he plays fast, but I was looking at that chip shot, the third shot up onto that green, and as a non-professional amateur golfer, I'm just thinking, I'm just going to blade this, like with the pressure that's on, I'm going to be blading this 40 meters over the back.
I'll be right next to you.
So yeah, it was phenomenal to watch.
And I think, like, the TV doesn't do justice for slope. You don't realize how much slope is around the greens and the complexes when you watch it on TV. Like, everybody says it about Augusta. People that go there for the first time, they go, I can't believe this property, because you don't kind of notice how much slope and elevation there is. And but yeah, like that chip that he hit was incredible. He's chipping it up onto the green, onto a platform, and then it releases down at quite a steep slope to get onto the back section. So yeah, like you say, for us, under pressure, we'll do something obviously silly, but just to get it down into that right sort of section of the green is a seriously tough shot, and it takes a lot of skill. And yeah, he obviously executed to absolute perfection. Like, he couldn't have hit that chip any closer. Like, so yeah,
100%. So I actually remember they had actually had a pretty. I definitely agree with you with the camera angles. They really never do it justice, but they actually had a pretty decent camera behind you guys for that shot, which was fairly low down. And I remember seeing kind of the false front of that green, and that just gave me like shivers. I was like, okay, I'm not. I don't know if I'm landing this ball on the green. Okay, so we just missed the birdie on 17. I mean, for all money, that putt looked like it was going in. And now we're standing on the 18th, second hardest hole, I think, of the day. Most of us watching at home are thinking, like, can he hold on for a par to make a playoff?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Genuinely, this is what the commentators are thinking. This is more or less the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Talk us through kind of your conversation on that tee box. I've heard Foxy's interviews about it, but
yeah,
you're walking up there.
It was incredible, actually, because as soon as that putt missed on 17, and it looked for all money, like once it got on top of that shelf, it was going to go left, it'd hold its line. He hit a perfect putt just on the right edge and kind of stayed there. So the first thing he said was like, geez, I thought that had to break. And I was like, yeah, it looked like it from the side. Anyway, he walks up and he goes, there's probably about 80 to 100 meter walk from green to tee. And he's kind of got halfway and he's going, I'm hidden driver up the last. I was like, good. And then I think he was looking for any sort of reaction, like as if, and then we got it like another 20 meters and he just went, he said, I'm taking this on. Like, I'm hidden driver. I'm going to try and birdie the last hole to win the Open, and I will live with the consequences. And I was just like, dude, there is no consequences. You've got this. And then hearing that as a caddy, you just like, wow, like that is, you couldn't ask for anything else. There's no indecision. Yeah. There's no, he put his foot down and he was like, I'm taking this on. Whatever happens, happens. If he makes a 6 and ends up finishing 5th in the tournament or whatever it might be, he took it on. He can hold his head up and go, you know what, I had a chance to win the Open, a major or whatever, which, the first time we've ever had a chance or been in contention with a few holes to go to win a major. So hearing that, I was just like, I am not going to say a word. I'm going to stand back. You just hope that he doesn't ask me, are you sure you're making the right decision or anything like that? But he was so set. Mm-hmm. He was so focused, ready to go. So by the time we stand on the tee box, it was literally normal routine. wind direction. There's your start line. There's your finish line. Anywhere on that yellow part of the board is good. And, well, yeah, 3 perfectly executed shots.
Yeah.
Coming down 18, the 72nd hole of a major. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that kind of gives me goosebumps when you're telling that story. But I mean, you guys obviously like okay, so you describe that interaction that you have, but as you say, like it's one thing for him. It's one thing for him to take it on and have that mindset. But as you say, he was talking to you and he was looking at you potentially. If you were going to be like obviously there was no indecision in your body language either.
Zero.
Which talks to like the sort of muscle memory that you guys have built up like as a team. And I'm sure there must have been situations previously when you guys have won tournaments where you've also decided on certain shots or a certain aggressive play with that you could like kind of build on sort of leading up to that, that kind of
Absolutely.
moment where you're so unified in your decision making.
Yeah. And we don't. Sometimes we've done. It's gone the other way on us. It's gone the other way. Like there's been opportunities coming down the last few holes where we might have taken something on that we didn't need to, and it's gone the other way. So
sure,
it happens.
But having that clarity, obviously, especially for Foxy, who's a quick player. Having clarity before you even standing on the tee box, I'm sure helps a lot with just freeing him up physically to swing like his swing.
Definitely, and that's what I said that earlier. I said like, when you get into contention, like things feel like they slow down a lot, which is great for us. Like it feels like you see everything with clarity, like the whole picture becomes really clear. And it's like I said, it's even more so than when you're sniffing down a cut line, one ahead of the cut with 3 holes to play. You're almost like it doesn't matter who you are. You could be a top 5 golfer in the world. You could be a guy that's playing his first 5 professional golf tournaments, knowing that if you make the cut, you're going to get paid, or you're going to get points, or you're going to you can move up the leaderboard on the weekend. That then all of a sudden it goes the other way. Like things, you start to go, are you sure we're making the right decision? Are we doing this? And then things don't become clear, and that's kind of where mistakes happen. So that was those last few holes were super clear. The 13th, I mean, if you go back and have a look at the 13th tee shot, it's exactly the same as the 18th. Like, there's not much room to land it in. You are dodging bunkers all over the place. And links golf, it's the protection of the golf course, right? The bunkers, they steep. Most of the time, you're out sideways. You scrambling to make a 4, but you're definitely trying to take double out of play when you go in a pot bunker. So he had an unbelievable tee shot on 13, and it's worth looking at that one and that set up a birdie to really kickstart everything for those last 6 holes where he made 4 birdies to win his first major.
Yeah, and I guess also gives that sort of swing confidence with the driver when you get to the 18th. Okay, so he hits it to like 11 feet. I think he was playing with Sam Burns. You guys are playing with Sam Burns? Yeah. So Burns is kind of putting out, and Foxy is like pacing around like my ADHD son on like on a Monday on a morning trying to get to school. He looked he was moving around that green so much. He looked so agitated. You were sort of there's I'm sure you've seen obviously the shots of him. He makes the putt and you're standing in the background and you kind of drop the flag and you kind of drop to your knees and you have your hand over your mouth. Just kind of talk me through standing there watching him sort of line up that putt, kind of what's going through your mind, and then like when you see it sink, it's just talk me through what you remember about that.
Well, it's funny because there's been a lot of people in the last week that have come up and said about that, asked me about that reaction, and it's kind of, I can't really put any specific thought that went in, that was going through my head, like super proud, first of all, that he had a chance to win. He gave himself a chance. So you're standing there and you're like, I cannot believe my boy's here with a putt to win a major championship. That's unbelievable. That's like, and I'm standing there and I'm going, wow, this is unreal. And then, like I've said before, it wasn't disbelief, like when the putt went in, because we've always believed that Foxy can do it. We've always believed that he can win a major. And that's what I say. We put in all these hours behind the scenes trying to get him to believe. Like, yes, he of course, every golfer believes, and they've all practiced, and they've all, they've done hours and hours on their own where there's nobody around, when they're working towards something when we don't know what it is, but they always pretending to have a putt to win the Masters, to win the Open, to, whatever, win the Sunday League, whatever they do as kids. So I'm standing there and I'm just like, just gone. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'd still be on the floor unless Sam Burns, Caddie Travis picked me up. Like, I was just like, wow, I cannot, like, I just couldn't believe that, he gave himself a putt to win a major championship and he took it on the first attempt. Like, we've never been in contention in a major. We've never, like, I think his best result in a major prior to this was maybe about 18th. So we've never had the opportunity to do it. And he's literally got one putt. And I said it to him after. I said, you might never get a chance to win a major again. I hope you do. I hope you end up winning 3 or 4. But you might never get that chance. You had one chance to win a major and you literally slotted it. Like, it's incredible. It was bonkers.
Yeah. I think I would be on my haunches on the green probably still as well if I was in your position. It was truly, it was one of the single most sort of remarkable kind of moments that I've seen in terms of just, the difficulty of the hole, the confidence that he had, two amazing shots just to, as you say, just to give himself that putt, and then to make that putt on top of it was just unbelievable.
But it definitely wasn't reckless. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a reckless decision to do that. Like, if that putt went in on 17, if that putt goes in on 17 and he needs to make par, he ain't hitting driver. There's no way I'm going to go, just smack driver out there and we'll deal with the consequences. It more than likely would have hit a 5-iron off the tee, which would have left a 6-iron into the green, and then back your short game. I mean, hopefully he hits the 6-iron on the green, but it's so firm and fast, it's bouncing all over the place. So, it's a totally different situation. He might still have had 11 foot to win it, but trying to make par to win a tournament is probably more difficult than having to make birdie to win a tournament.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you that. Do you think that actually feeds into Foxy's sort of aggressive mindset better, that he actually had to go and grab it, as opposed to not screw it up, with like a bogey or something like that?
Oh yeah. Definitely. Having a 1 or 2 shot lead going down the last is, you're either going to win it or you don't want to be known as a choker. Like, say if you've got a 2-shot lead coming down 18, all you got to do is make 5. That's probably harder.
Absolutely. We've seen that. We've seen that story before numerous times at the Open.
Exactly. There's history there.
Okay, so we're moving to go wrapping up here, but let's talk about the party afterwards. I know there was a lot of red wine drunk. I've seen photos. I may have seen a video clip. I've heard stories.
Don't share that clip, by the way.
Just give us No, you know what? I was sent the video clip, and I was like, you know what? I don't think Deano wants this thing going around. This is
Yeah, it's
this
when it
is a
got sent
personal
back.
moment.
When it got sent back to me on WhatsApp, and it said, like on top when it goes viral, and it says
Forwarded
forwarded many times. I'm like, oh
many
no, everybody's
times.
seen it. But yeah, that was yeah, excuse the F
That
bombs and
was
that. But yeah, that was like, there was a big party. So,
yeah.
and obviously it hadn't sunk in for any of us. Like, we didn't know what the magnitude of this was. We knew what it would be, but like, we were just partying like youngsters. And there's a lot of stuff that he had to do straight after. So we were in the clubhouse, we're meeting with RNA, he's getting presented stuff. We're having conversations with numerous bigwigs, and but all his friends remained, like they were sitting there waiting patiently for him to come back. And we're obviously celebrating, have a couple of drinks in the clubhouse, and waiting and waiting and waiting, and he comes back. And then we had like an hour there. That's when the red wine started going in the Claret Jug after a few sips of champagne.
In the Birkdale clubhouse.
In the clubhouse, yeah.
Okay.
And then off we go back to our house that we were staying at for the week. And all the guys came back. There was, he's really good friends with Dan Hillier, Minwoo Lee, Thomas Detry. Those guys were all there, and they hung out, and wives and girlfriends, and a few media guys from New Zealand, Golf New Zealand. So there was a house full, and we definitely got stuck in. We had the music going, the red wine just kept going in and going in and going in, and that jug surprisingly holds over a bottle of wine, which doesn't look like it when you're looking at it, but yeah, it's so yeah, we went through 40 bottles of wine.
Wow.
Into the Claret Jug.
I always wondered about the logistics of the after party. Like someone has to organize that, that wine. Yeah. Like who, and there's also potentially people who may have organized like drinks for their player who doesn't end up winning, and then they end up like. So is there like a central repository where like who actually does that? Is that like his agent or someone who puts it all together? Or
yeah. Okay. So it was funny. So like Saturday, like I was saying, myself and his agent and his coach were out there, and we're like, hey, we got a dream, like this could happen tomorrow, like, and Ian Keenan, he was just like, 60-60. Yeah, checkers, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've got this all planned. Don't worry, boys. If this happens, it's all, and it somehow did. But then George, who's a Kiwi that he does harping on, George Harper. He's a good one to follow on Instagram for all you guys. But he was there, and he's an awesome dude, and he managed to somehow get another 18 bottles of wine at 1 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, they all went. I don't know where they came from. I've not asked him, but yeah. So the party was good, and then I think you guys might have seen, like, he had a pickup at 4:15 in the morning. I soldiered on till about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was done. I went to bed, and I was like, right, Foxy, I'll see you in the morning. He says, no, you won't. He said, I'm getting on that plane at 4:15. And I'm like, wow, you won't, mate. There's no chance. And he gave me a hug, and he says, I'll see you in 3 weeks' time. And I was like, oh, whatever. So I go in and put my head down for a few hours, and I wake up. I still got my bib on, push his door open on the way past, and he's gone. Like he got a pickup at 4:15 in the morning, and off he was back to Florida to his family, which is big celebrations. And they continued through the week for me. Had a nice party with my mother, who lives in England, and my stepfather and a few friends down in England on the Monday, and then tried to fly home Tuesday night, which I made it halfway to Dubai and got stuck there for 24 hours. So met a few friends in Dubai and continued, and then
nice
back to South Africa on Thursday. And met up with all the boys on the weekend and had some
On
good
Saturday
family
nights,
times and parties.
yeah. Unfortunately,
it was
I was supposed to come to that, and then I got a lot of photos from the usual suspects of your guys' celebrations.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll try and do it again, okay? And don't miss the next one.
There we go. Yeah, when you've wrapped up the tour championship there, we'll have to catch up again. I guess there's President's Cup vibes on the table as well. So what are your movements now? Sort of over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so obviously starting today the BMW, and then Atlanta next week, and then back home for a few days. Probably going to go to the rugby on the 5th in Joburg.
Nice.
Then back to Durban for a couple of days, and I'll fly over to do a camp. We're doing a President's Cup camp in Deano. That's the 9th, 10th, and 11th, and then over to Baltimore to watch the 4th Test, which will be good. Been invited with Foxy and the head of sport for New Zealand. So I told him I'm wearing my Booker shirt. I'm wearing my Booker shirt regardless. So I don't care.
100%.
So going to that, and then we fly over to Wentworth for the BMW, and then back to the President's Cup, then home again after that. So it's quite busy.
That is busy, man. Well, let's maybe we can sneak in a range session and a couple beers with the
100%.
Guys when you're back. But you mentioned the rugby. Obviously, you and Foxy famously had a bet a few years ago at Sun City, which ended up with Foxy wearing that Springbok jersey during that pro-am.
Yeah,
I'm guessing you guys must have something on the line for this series. Can you let us behind the curtain there? What is on the line?
We haven't.
It's a big
funny
one.
That because we actually last night we were out for dinner, and he said what's the bet for this series? Are we going to go game by game? And I was like, we're going to have to think about that, but we haven't actually said what it might be.
Okay,
I don't know. Maybe you guys can think of something and let us know.
Well, you've got 48 hours. Well, there we go. Yeah, we can put it out there and see what everyone thinks. I'm just thinking logistically, it must be difficult. Potentially, you guys actually being on the course during the rugby.
Yeah.
That must happen quite often, which can't be
easy.
Phones
will be
either.
out. We'll be sneaking a little look on all the apps, seeing what's going on.
Well, also good. Good stuff to talk about while you guys are out on the course, because
which is good because we actually marked up this whole week, both of us.
Wow.
So it's going to be a big topic of conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant.
For NFL Live, or DraftKings or something like that. But yeah, we'll be marked up and ready to go.
Okay, well, be sure while you're mic'd up, be sure to just slide some like South African sayings in there, for the Bokke.
He knows them all. He knows them all. That's the problem. Like, he's really good friends with Burmy and Christian, Bezaidenotes, Gary Kigo. Okay. He's really good friends with all South Africans. So I can't even slide in a little slur to him, because he'll be like, yeah, you've called me that a million times. And then you'll probably reply to me with something in Afrikaans.
Hulle weet nie wat ons weet nie. Maybe that you guys can, maybe he can adopt that as the slang. Maybe that should be part of the bet. As you should be get him to say that on camera. There's one idea for a future Instagram video for Foxy if the Boks get it over the line. But listen, Deano, thanks so much, bud.
No, my pleasure.
Yeah, awesome insights. Really, I think guys are really going to enjoy listening to that, and I really appreciate it, bud. And we'll catch up when you are back.
Sounds good. Look forward to it.